Hi, and welcome to the Frog Pond School of Design, where we like to talk about the architecture associated with a lot of things. Today, I want to talk about we'll start by talking about a building technique that was popular, or at least being tried, back in the 60s. And what this did was a mechanism that extruded a rigid foam board. And the particular system that was used had an arm mounted on a central rotating mechanism so that it went around in a circle. It was going to make a circular shape, a circular building, if you will. And since the arm didn't change length as it laid each board on top of what had done before, it was going to go up and it was going to make a dome. So it was an easy way to generate this rigid foam dome, which then you could spray inside and out with appropriate finishes and have a building. After you cut whatever openings you needed in the foam. So this was a really interesting thing, and to me that's interesting because 60 years ago we had something that today we would call 3D printing, right? So maybe 3D printing isn't quite as new and revolutionary as we'd like to think today. But the other aspect of this, I want to tell you about a project that was done with this particular system. It was an elementary school up in the Detroit area somewhere. I visited it back when I was in college and have no idea where I would find it today, if it's still there. But what they did was they did a large dome in the center and then smaller ones around the outside. So the large one in the center became the multi-purpose room, and then there were classrooms and other functions in the smaller domes around. You can kind of see here what that looked like. And the point here is inside the large dome, they built a wall which created a corridor around the outside of that central dome. There in the area where the ceiling wasn't quite as high, you could use that as the corridor. That became the link corridor. So what I get from this now is an exercise in perception, how people perceive anything you design for that matter, but spaces in particular. If you've ever been in an arena of some sort, you're at a basketball game or something, and you're out on the concourse and you're walking around to the concession stand, whatever, you come back and think, where was my gate? I have no idea where I am. Well, in places like that, they use numbers to tell you. So you go look at your ticket and you find which vomitory you came out of, and you go find your seat. It doesn't work that way in a school with a bunch of little kids. And I guess it was fairly chaotic at first until somebody said, well, why don't we come in and just paint each of these segments a different color? Worked wonderfully for the kids. It took the adults a while to catch on to that. So the whole point is, however subtle the cues are that we want to give people, we're going to need them in certain situations. And in an arena, you've got numbers. In a place like this, they used colors. Different people, particularly of different ages, perceive things in different ways, and we need to take that into consideration now and then. Hey, thanks for joining me today on the Frog Pond School of Design. I look forward to seeing you hanging around the pond again real soon.